Before I get into it, let me give a brief disclaimer. This video is not about the guilt or innocence of the rapper A$AP Rocky. He very well may be guilty or innocent. And now, on to the video. Black Democrat after black Democrat. Many of these folks have been saying it's a bad idea to sit down and simply talk with President Donald Trump.
It was a bunch of mediocre Negroes being dragged in front of TV as a photo op for Donald Trump's exploitative campaign against black people.
But recently, there was a situation with A$AP Rocky where he was thrown in jail for a small street brush-up that it seems that he probably didn't start in Switzerland. This case, if Trump is in any way able to help bring A$AP Rocky home, may end up showing that it's much better to have a relationship with the President of the United States than it is to rest on your laurels and turn your nose up at his presidency for reasons you probably can't even articulate clearly. Sure, you might be able to parrot a few leftist talking points, but there's mountains of evidence that negates what you've been taught by the leftist media.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand. A big hand for Donald Trump.
She's the beautiful biracial model who dated President Trump for 2 years. Last year, Cara, now a mom, told the TV show Chasing News that Trump was not a racist.
I would never go out with anybody that was a racist. Of course not. That's crazy.
So basically, whites on the left set the talking points. They push it constantly on the news, and some black people still follow blindly, despite not trusting the news on anything else. Ever asked one of these folks about black crime statistics posted on those very same sources?
Black people are not just out here, wilding out, killing each other the way that people want you to believe, okay? You want to know something that is disproportionate? The media coverage of black on black crimes, okay?
It's funny to see that. So why am I saying these things? There have been a number of black folks who have actually went against the grain and met with President Trump. Despite the pushback they've received from the left, practically all have said that the meetings were positive and that President Trump was a pleasant guy who seemed genuinely interested in helping them with the projects that they were each involved in.
We're going to team up and see if we can bring about some positive change in the inner cities, which I felt was my only agenda, and he agreed, and he wants to do something. And he realizes that he needs some allies in that department, and he seemed really sincere about it.
And he's amenable to listening to people who did not vote for him.
He listened to you. You told me in commercial break that you all were in there for a long time.
Now, one of the people who was accused of making a mistake for sitting down with President Trump and who ultimately became friends with him was Kanye West.
I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here.
Now, Kanye West apparently was the very person who put the bug in Trump's ear that he should do something to help A$AP Rocky. Now, here's the question. Do you think that Jay-Z telling Meek Mill not to simply sit down in a meeting with President Trump and others about prison reform was giving good advice? It could have been Meek Mill who could have asked Trump to seek the release of A$AP Rocky. But because Jay-Z convinced Meek Mill to refuse to sit down with President Trump and build a relationship, these folks have no say in the matter. Why? Because they foolishly and sheepishly are following behind the teachings of the Democrat Party, a party that calls its opponents racist in order to gain political prominence. At this point, they're even calling other Democrats racist.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calling out House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and telling the Washington Post, and this is a quote, "But the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful, the explicit singling out of newly elected women of color." She's referring to herself and her fellow Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and also Rashida Tlaib. The 4 freshman members called themselves the Squad.
What we should be taking note of is that Trump is the president of the United States. He's in a position to change a few things. We can take advantage of his desire to work with us, or we can sit back and do exactly what the left wants us to do and thoughtlessly call him all sorts of names all day at their command. Ultimately, it's our decision that can either help us or hurt us. Think about it. And remember, if President Trump says something off-putting about a person of color, he does the same for anyone who opposes him, black, white, male, female, or otherwise. If we truly wanted equal treatment, we should see that in his actions and recognize it as such. We should not expect preferential treatment. That paints us as lesser or inferior. That's what the left has been selling us for years, and many of us have bought into it. Even I have in the past. Moreover, there are always other variables to consider other than race, sex, and nationality. You can start by doing something relatively simple. Just consider culture. I'm Chi Brown. Please remember to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm out.
No more Yaza Baza.